Hello, welcome to the fifth lesson of the 6 lessons by Robert Kiyosaki. The rich create sources of income to make money. I'm your brother Salah, and the idea of the channel is that I read a book and explain it to you in an interesting and enjoyable way. So if you're one of those people who don't like reading books or don't have time to read, you should definitely subscribe to our channel to get the benefits of reading without actually reading. Let's get started. Robert Kiyosaki says, "One night while I was writing the book, I took a break and turned on the TV. I saw a program talking about a person named Alexander Graham Bell and how much he suffered after patenting the mobile phone. He had a lot of pressure due to the increasing demand for his new product, and at that time, he didn't have the capacity to meet those demands. So he decided to look for a big company to buy his patent and develop it. He approached Western Union and offered them the patent for $100,000. Surprisingly, the company rejected the deal and mocked him, saying the amount he asked for was highly exaggerated and that the invention was a failure and not worth that amount. As we can see in our world today, the impact of the mobile phone on us since the beginning of the 21st century is immense, and it's something essential in our lives that no one can live without, all thanks to this important invention." Robert Kiyosaki says, "While I was watching another news story on the channel, I came across a report a company collapse and layoff. A 45-year-old manager brought his wife and children and stood in front of the company, begging the owners to meet someone. He told them he has a family and if fired, can't feed them. He mentioned he bought a house on installments and if he can't pay, he'll lose it." So, what is Robert Kiyosaki trying to convey with these two stories? It's that everyone has a talent or a specific idea, and if they use it correctly and work on it, it's better than working as a manager in a big company. Amazon can close at any moment. The poor and middle class blame circumstances and can't make money without capital. You ask them, "How much do you need to start?" You find him saying unbelievable amounts, £500,000, £1,000,000. So, are you going to wait and do nothing until you get that amount? Is there no other solution? He says, no, there is no other solution. And you find him spending his life on trivial things to waste time. But the wealthy innovate their sources of income to get money and have people like Bill Gates and Alexander Graham Bell. Wealth is a mindset and poverty is a mindset. Your mind is what will make you rich or poor. The important thing is to strive and make use of the available means. Fear and lack of self-confidence exist in everyone. Robert was a professional teacher in 1984 and saw fear and lack of self-confidence in thousands of people, even in himself, despite the amazing potential within us. He says, "When I was a teacher, my heart would ache when I saw students knowing the answers, but being afraid to say them." Financial genius requires courage and risk-taking. You have to be bold and learn how to turn your genius from fear into strength and creativity. 300 years ago, land was the wealth for the rich. Whoever had land was rich, had people working on it, and harvested crops every year, making them wealthy. 200 years ago, factories and production were the wealth for the rich. Someone who owned a factory and produced goods was considered wealthy. However, today in the 21st century, wealth is based on information and technological ideas, like Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the mobile phone, Mark, the founder of Facebook, and Sergey and Larry, the founders of the Google search engine. Your phone is a significant source of wealth if you use it correctly. With a phone and internet, you can achieve wealth even as a user, not just a producer. We all have great potential and we are even talented. However, what holds us back is a lack of self-confidence. Not a lack of information or knowledge, but a lack of self-confidence. Robert Kiyosaki discussed financial intelligence, and we conclude with this. In the early 90s, the economy of the city of Phoenix was completely down. We take advantage of crises, and this is exactly what the wealthy do, seize opportunities. So I invested in real estate because it is my own business. I made a very profitable deal at that time. Robert says he didn't go to real estate dealers. He went to people who were in debt and at risk of imprisonment. He asked a property owner how much he needed to sell his house. The owner said $20,000. Robert said he agreed, knowing that the house was worth about $75,000 at the time. He borrowed $2,000 from a friend and promised to return $2,200. He paid the $2,000 as a down payment for the house and advertised that a house worth $75,000 was being sold for only $60,000. He received many calls that day from the advertisement and finalized a deal with a buyer for $60,000. The owner got his $20,000 and Robert got $40,000 in the form of a one-year loan from a brokerage company earning 10% annual interest instead of taking the amount and paying taxes on it. He gave another example where he bought a house for $45,000 in a stagnant market and rented it out for a small amount for a year. After a year, the real estate market revived, and he sold the house for $95,000. He paid the difference and exchanged it for a bigger house with 12 floors, which was worth $300,000 at the time. After 2 years, He exchanged it for an even bigger building worth $875,000. After years, we sold it to an investor for $200K. These are the opportunities we need to seize. Hope I was helpful. If you liked our effort, please subscribe to gain the benefits of reading without reading. We'd be happy to have you follow us. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next chapter. Peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings.